All right, the National is coming up in just a few days, so let's look at some recent sales to see what kind of pump we're getting in the market.
Well, apparently the buyers of these cars didn't save their money for the National because we got some high sales here.
I think there's always been a perception. I always seem to hear people say, "Oh, prices are going to drop a little bit for the National. People are saving their money, and maybe it'll drop even further after the National." Last year, the biggest growth by month was actually August and September. So after the National, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that it should be before or after, or neither, both?
I would assume a little before. Anecdotally, I've been trying to sell some cards, and some people have said, "Oh, I'm saving money for the National."
Yeah,
Uh, it doesn't quite make sense to me. I guess buying if you've planned a trip, you don't want to then spend all your cash before and not have anything. I've heard sellers say, "Oh, I'll be selling these at the National," even though they have a customer right in front of them,
yeah.
which doesn't really make sense to me. I guess on one hand, you could say, well, I've got to have some inventory if I'm going, and they definitely want to go. But on the other hand, like, why not sell it right now when somebody's in front of you?
It's obviously the biggest card show around, only once a year, and some of the biggest deals happen there. But what we know is that there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, I don't know, millions of card collectors out there, and Michael Jordan collectors, plenty of them that do not go to the National, do not go to card shows, mostly deal online. And we can see from the auction results for weekly auctions, there's still plenty of people setting new records. All right, well, let's look at a few sales from yesterday. We have a few things that I wanted to cover. The first two are actually both eBay sales. There's a Quick Strike PSA 8 that took a little bit of a jump up to 2,750. Previously was in the 2,000 to 2,300 range. So I think it's an all-time high on this card. It's a pretty solid sale. I think this is like a 1 in 96 or something for the odds of this card. Obviously very beautiful, and great refraction on both sides. Acetate, I've mentioned it before, one of my favorite cards, I believe. I've said. So that's 2,750, and then alternately, there was a sale on an electrifying PSA 8 for $7,000, over $7,000. Is that right? At an auction. This seems crazy to me. I think this card is like a 1 in, I don't know, 72, 96, something like that as well. It's
I
from
got
19.
the odds right here. We got 1152 Series 2 for Quick Strike, 1 in 720 for electrifying. So I would.
72 for
compare
electrifying.
these exactly, but you'd have to think that Z-Force Quick Strike is rare.
Yeah, in terms of print runs, I think Quick Strike is probably a little bit rarer, but I mean, ultimately, neither of these are in the highest tier of the rarest cards of
Agreed.
under 1,000 print run, for example. So maybe these are a little bit similar. Electrifying is gorgeous in hand. It sparkles. It's got that beautiful lightning themed background. It's from 1998. Fleer Tradition, which we've talked about before, not, I guess, technically a playing year, but we still count it, and love a lot of cards from that year. How do you reconcile these two sales? We got $7,000 for electrifying, under $3,000 for Quick Strike.
Well, I can't reconcile, but I agree with your comments. Quick Strike still feels undervalued. I mean, if we're comparing to electrified, drastically undervalued. If we look also last night, there was a 92 Beam Team PSA 8 sale for about 2,200. That sells 200 times in the last year. This has sold 20 times in the last year. So to be a hair over 92 Beam Team feels very low. I could see this going much higher if that's creeping up as it is. This is still up 2.5 times in a year, which ordinarily would seem absurd, but every other card is up even more than that. So this seems like a very modest increase given the last few sales, and given other sales, this is literally double in 6 weeks. Like that can't be reconciled. An auction seems crazy.
I think we're at the point where we don't really need to necessarily look at the growth over 6 months or a year at some of these cards. But I think it's important to start comparing the cards to each other, like what you just mentioned before. And kind of our conversation from a few days ago, if we have the availability of a Beam Team PSA, iconic, one of the most popular Michael Jordan inserts, but selling, multiple times per week, versus the Quick Strike, which is rarer and very rarely sells. We should
and a
think
good
about
looking card. It's not a bad card by any stretch.
Yeah. But electrifying, jumping this high, it doesn't feel right to me, especially because there are quite a few 9s, 9.5s of this card that are out there that you can easily find as well.
I think it really reminds me of 93 Scoring Kings, which we saw a very similar spike about a month prior, where that was going from 2.5, 3.5. All of a sudden, you blink and it's at near 7. I think we're sensing a theme with the Lightning, that people like Lightning in their card.
People like Lightning. That is a good insight there. Let's go to the next one. All right, so let's do the same thing. Let's compare two cards, similarly priced in this case. So I have a PSA 9 Scoring Magnet. Hits a new high. It's over $2,000 now for the PSA 9. And then in contrast, we have Apparitions. This is a PSA 8, and it is a little under $2,000 now. It was previously $2,300, so a little bit of a dip there. Probably a pretty good deal in my opinion. But two cards that are in this kind of mid-tier range. They're not necessarily the most popular, the most expensive or most rare inserts. Two of the probably remaining cards that are in this $2,000 range for pretty solid inserts. Which of these do you like better, Scoring Magnet or Apparitions?
I mean, if we can look at them side by side, I've owned both of these. I don't own either of them now. I don't particularly love either of them. I suppose Apparitions gets the slight edge. Both are kind of a foil, not super easy grade. Like a 9 is really good. Yep. So comparing a 9 and an 8, that's also tough. I consider these low end. I know you said mid-tier, and $2,000 is certainly mid-tier. It's just now that everything is creeping up, now we're in the low tier is $2,000, which seems crazy, but none have been my favorite. How about you?
I couldn't see on your screen. It's a little small for me. What are the pack odds on these two cards? Scoring Magnet's pretty low, right? Isn't it like 480 or something?
Scoring Magnet, 1 in 432, but only in Series 2 Hobby. Okay. Apparitions, 1 in 540, Series 1 Retail. So roughly comparable. Hard to tell exactly, but not too crazy.
This is a point where I think it's important to talk about where cards are inserted into what types of packs. And so we look at pack odds, we look at print runs often, but I think there's a big difference between retail only and hobby only inserts, especially in this kind of mid to late 90s time period when there was so much retail product floating out there at Target and Walmart and Kmart when it existed. Whereas hobby packs, if you have a hobby only product, a hobby only insert, even though the odds may only be a certain number, it's a little bit more rare just because hobby was only in those few LCSs that were out there.
True. In Series 2, people may have moved on to something else by then. You start to get into different sports, different seasons.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that could be some sort of rarity.
Yeah, I mean, between the two cards, like you mentioned, both foil. One is from Metal, which is a higher end product, and then one is from Topps, which is one of the lowest end products is Topps. I would pick the Apparitions. I like the look of it a little bit better. And like we mentioned, the grade is really tough on this card. Now, one thing that some people may or may not know is that there is a Topps Chrome from 1998 where they did, the same inserts and have a Chrome parallel. There are also Chrome refractors. For Apparitions, there's actually no Michael Jordan of the Chrome or the Chrome refractor.
Everybody else except Jordan.
Same goes for the Bombardiers for that year, and the reason is because MJ retired, and so they had him in the first series or in the top set, but not the Chrome set. And so, just imagine if the Apparitions had the Chrome refractor numbered to 100, it would be I don't know, at least a 5-digit card there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, we got one more to go over, and this is one that I don't know what to do with. It's Records Collection, PSA 8. It has a gold diamond sticker, and it used to be I don't know, $600 card and then $1,000 card. And now it is, and then it was a $3,500 card. And now just look at it. It is out of control. It's an upper deck insert, which we've talked about before. Upper deck doesn't tend to do quite as well, but this one seems to be the exception.
Yeah, this is one of the few. Like I tend to shy away from upper deck, but this I do have, and I consider it an exception. Like I make an exception because it's upper deck. It's a really cool card. Has the grooves, which you can see on the card. This I think the culprit is really this $4,000 sale.
Yeah.
Yes, that is 2 months and a crazy 2 months. We got a fixed price here that could have very easily gotten 3,200 at auction, 2,800 at auction, something like that. And I think that's somewhat informing this 47.
Yes.
So just 6 days. They both honestly seem crazy. It's black borders. It's hard. It's a hard grade. I like the card a lot. It just tripling over a few months seems a little excessive.
I love this card. It looks awesome in hand. Like you mentioned, the grooves of a record in there, the color match of the jersey. But yeah, for a PSA 8, it's not a PSA 9. It's an 8. So not extremely rare or anything, but it has that sticker. So NBA Gold Diamond sticker. I want to talk about that really quick. What is your knowledge of the NBA sticker?
I know that Mike Baker, former PSA head grader, starts this company, decides let's get more granular with these grades, especially PSA because there's not really half grades. I mean, there is for most grades, but they don't use them very often. So let's get kind of like what they had with PWCC, top 15. I forget the exact percentages for gold. Is it top 5 or 15%, top 30, and then top 50, like essentially like bronze is, that's what we think it should be. So this is a top among the 8. Personally, for my collection, I don't care to get that granular. It just seems too specific. I personally wouldn't pay extra for it. I'm a little afraid that if we get so many of these out there, it's going to be even more difficult to parse comps like it is with BGS. Like you get to the half grades, plus they've got a small market share. If we get to this, maybe one PSA gold label is going to sell a year of this. So
yeah,
if you like it, great. It's not really my thing.
Sounds like your kids don't like it either, but I just don't get this. You mentioned before, it's eye appeal stickers, so similar to the Fanatics, they do a 15 or 30% for Fanatics. It's supposed to be assessing what the card's eye appeal is for a specific grade. So it's not necessarily saying that this is, the best copy of the card anywhere, but it's the best copy in that grade. So in theory, this means that NBA or Fanatics has seen every single PSA 8 records collection that's out there, and they have decided this one deserves the gold sticker, which is X percentage of the best PSA 8 that is out there. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know how that would be possible for them to see every single one of these. They're not all scanned in PSA. I don't know that they would look at that either. I've seen previously there was a percentage number. I think the gold diamond went to like the top 5 or 10%, and then the silver diamond went to like top 30%. Yeah. That's not on their website anymore. If it was there before, it's gone now. It just says it's for superior eye appeal for the technical grade.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a lot fewer graders at Mike Baker. I'm sure he started the company by himself, and when he started it, he was the only grader. I assume he's got more now, maybe 2, 3, 5, something like that. PSA's got hundreds and hundreds of graders. There's going to be some inconsistency and some variance between there. You don't see this kind of inflation with Beckett subgrades. Like if you get a Min Gem versus a True Gem Plus, there's some variance, but it's what I'm seeing with these gold stickers is way beyond that. And there's a lot less transparency with this. Like it seems like it's just one guy, maybe he hired a couple people. At least with Beckett, you get the exact subgrades. So
yeah,
I don't think it's worth that much.
Well, First of all, grading any card is subjective. It's up to the grader that is assigned that card. And with PSA grading millions of cards, it just depends on who's looking at it and who's familiar with the card or who's familiar with 90s cards and sets, specifically for these Michael Jordan cards. And now we're grading that grader, right? So even more subjectivity there. Somebody is paying for these. There is a premium on these cards. So the market has determined that there is value in these stickers or in the Fanatics Eye Appeal. But for myself, I can just look at it myself. I can just see if it looks better than maybe another copy or looks worse, I think, than another copy. And for me, it doesn't do much to have these stickers. Now, one thing that I found out, one of my friends in the Facebook groups posted about his NBA submission recently, and he had asked actually for clarification on what the diamonds mean, what the colors mean, and it's slightly different from what's on the website. Maybe it's somewhere buried in the website, but I'll read it really quickly. You mentioned this before. Bronze actually means that they agree with the grade. Silver means that it's superior eye appeal for the card in that grade. That is what it says in the website right now. But then in the gold, it says that it equals gold sticker means they think it's worth at least a half grade higher. So if it was a 10 with a gold sticker, it would be technically a pristine card. If it's a 9 with a gold sticker, they assign it an NBA 9.5, which in my opinion, I guess means it could be a BGS 9.5, could be closer to a 10. But interesting that they're actually saying that this is a little bit better than a PSA 9.
Yeah, what does the half point better even mean? On a PSA 8, yes, there are 8.5s, but let's just excuse that for a second because they really don't use the 8.5 very often. It's still going to be an 8. And
correct.
Do they put a sticker on? What if they think the grade is higher than it should be? Do they not put a sticker on? Like if they put stickers on every single card, then
they put like a poop colored sticker.
Yeah, like I don't. It just doesn't seem worth it at all to me.
Yeah,
I'm okay with the 10-point scale. I don't need a 100-point or a 1,000-point scale. Like it doesn't need to get that granular.
I don't get it either, but like we said, there's somebody buying these things, somebody who's paying extra for these, and so it'll continue for until that stops, I guess.
How about the Fanatics premiere that ended last night? You bought this Ultra Stars Gold, right? It's been on your wish list for quite a while.
It's been on my wish list. I absolutely did not buy this card. It's a PSA 7. There was a PSA 7 that sold a month ago at Fanatics Premiere that was $50K, and it had like a little print defect on it that I wasn't sure what it was, so I decided not to go for it. This one goes up to 54. I seriously considered bidding for it right at this number or slightly above. Ultimately decided I just couldn't get over this mental hurdle that I have of paying that much for one car.
You could buy a luxury car instead of a piece of cardboard.
You could get a very nice car. You could put it into stocks. You could put it into retirement. You can get a bunch of nice vacations for your family. Probably you can go to Disney World several times. Do you have this problem? I have this. Is this a problem or is this a good thing that I'm trying to be responsible or like feeling like it's way too much to spend on one Michael Jordan card?
Well, I used to, a few years ago, I told myself I don't need to buy any card that's more than $1,000. That just seemed too much for me. I don't need
when I first started,
a $1,000 card. That's just absurd. Well, now you can't even barely collect for that. Like just the market. Look again, a BMT PSA $2,200. Like that's absurd. So I think it's good to have a threshold. I kind of keep card money all contained, so I don't really compare it to I could buy a car or a vacation. Now, I'm not even considering cards anywhere near this, so I'm not comparing to cars because the cards I buy are not anywhere near that. But I think it's good to have kind of a threshold, say this much, whatever it is, $500, $50,000, it's too much, and I just can't do it. So straight.
I guess same here. Like it's not like I would use the money for something else typically. Like I'm not pulling money from my regular spending to spend $50,000 on a Michael Jordan card. I'm also not buying this card. I've never spent anywhere close to this number on any card, but it's the mentality thing. Like once we get up to $10,000, for example, then it's like, wait a second, even though this is coming from card profits over time, or it's, consolidation of other cards I spent money on. It's just the idea of spending that much money on one card when it really could be used for something else if I needed it to, is just impossible for me to get over. So I think the dream is dead for this card, at least for the time being. And
For the time being.
I think the other thing was that it's a PSA 7, and I collect BGS, so it's not perfect. I potentially could have cracked it out and shot for a BGS, I don't know, 8.5 on it, which would be nice, but it's just it's not perfect. And to spend that much and to break records and to continue with to buy at this point in the crazy Michael Jordan curve, it was just too much for me to do right now.
Would you have considered selling some of the ones behind you to pay for it and just kind of a trade essentially? So even if it goes down, thinking those might have gone down too.
Yeah, that was my plan. I've been trying to trade into one for a little while with stuff that I already have. And something about that makes it feel better, even though it's technically the same. Like, I paid money for the cards that I have. Yeah. And I don't know. That is what I would have done. I would have had to sell, many things to fund this Ultra Stars Gold. But ultimately, not a problem I have to deal with now. We'll kind of kick this to next time.
Yeah, I don't think the dream is dead. I think we're at a high point. I think in a year or two or 3 or 4, who knows? Maybe it'll be $200,000 card. I mean, I honestly don't know. Maybe it'll be 30, and you'll get it again. We'll see. Maybe your threshold will go up. I think you get it eventually.